Hey you, I'm Jules and I'm 30 years old, and welcome to my fashion mistakes I made in my 20s. To be honest, I much prefer the word lesson rather than mistake, because everyone makes mistakes and your style is a journey. So don't give yourself a hard time, we all learn along the way. The first mistake I made was feeling that I had to have all of the colors. I'd find a top I liked or a dress I liked, and I would pick a color that I didn't have a lot of on purpose to feel like I had a lot of variation in my wardrobe, when because I had that one color and didn't have a lot of that other color somewhere else, it became really hard to style entire cohesive outfits because I just had a lot of different colors in my wardrobe. Instead, I now have a palette of about 5 or 6 colors. It kind of depends on the season. But when I'm shopping and I find something I like, I look to see what colors it comes in, and I choose the colors according to what's going to easily fit into my wardrobe and what can I pair with a lot of things I already own. And then with choosing color, I didn't realize how much color and contrast impacted my entire look and how it worked with and against my body type. I didn't know my vertical body type for many years, and it wasn't until a few years ago that I started to really understand how it all fit together. And then once I did, everything just snapped together and I suddenly knew my style. I knew how to shop intentionally. I felt really good in my clothing picks. I felt really confident. And that in and of itself was such a key turning point, but it took most of my 20s to get there. I would also say I didn't know the details of my body shape. I think when we hear body shape, we think of apples, rectangles, pears, and that is just one small sliver of your body shape when there are so many others. When you hear of those traditional body shape types, those are what are considered your horizontal body shape. So it's looking at your shoulders to your hips and the width of those in relation to each other. But your vertical body shape takes in your entire vertical proportion. So once I started knowing how my legs and torso were playing together, how my torso and my neck were playing together, and how my feet/shoes were playing with my legs, I learned how to balance that out all vertically, and I just felt really good and confident in what I was wearing and what I was choosing for myself, which made it so much easier to go out and shop and to find my style, having that bit of a narrower focus. Another fashion mistake I made was buying too many inexpensive shoes. I loved having a huge collection of shoes that I could just go in and play around and feel like I had all kinds of shoes at my disposal. But because I was having so many, I had to go to lower price points. And then when I did that, I'd find that they kind of fell apart more quickly. And there were just a few that I was in the end really gravitating towards. Now I try to make my purchasing decisions much more intentionally. And because I'm doing that, I'm able to invest in a little bit better quality, which is much more comfortable. It looks really nice. And since I'm wearing the same shoes more often, I'm getting really good wear out of them. Plus, it feels really good to wear quality shoes. I think one of the mistakes I made in my early 20s was buying clothes that I thought were appropriate now that I was in the real world. You know, you get your first job, you go buy some professional clothes. Coming from college, I was pretty much wearing loungewear every day, and I didn't have a casual wardrobe anymore. And I didn't have any pieces that could play double duty that well. All of my tops were a little bit dressy to be casual, and then all of my loungewear was a little bit too loungy to be professional. So now I've definitely built up my casual wardrobe even more so that a lot of those pieces can get dressed up and I can still wear them to work, but at the same time I could still wear them lounging around the house, and it doubles because I feel really comfortable. And then with that, the mistake I made was not buying pants that I was comfortable in. So many work pants out there. There's so many jeans out there that are just too tight, too stiff. They don't fit you the right way. And I get it. Pants, jeans, all of that is really hard to find one that just fits you perfectly. But my best piece of advice is do the best research you can and try on a lot of stuff. It's totally okay to do a lot of trying on. It's very normal. But do not settle. Keep your standards high. You want to be comfortable. You want something that fits you. And don't be afraid to tailor a little bit here and there. Finding a local tailor usually isn't that expensive, with most adjustments being between $10 and $20. I also felt a lot of pressure to hang on to items, even if they were pieces I loved 1 2 years ago, but they were looking a little worn, or maybe I just wasn't reaching for it as much, or maybe I determined that color isn't really working with my current wardrobe, but I really do like the piece. I was hanging on to too much stuff, and I still am. I am constantly decluttering and constantly donating, trying to get my wardrobe to be as slim as I possibly can. But I had some beautiful pieces that I was so proud that I had, but every time I go to declutter, I look at it and say, this is such a cute piece. I don't wear this color anymore, but I have to keep it. when really someone else should be wearing it and enjoying it. So feel free to let them go. If you want to resell them, you can, but sometimes it's just easier to give them away. Maybe just take it out, put it in a bag, and then put it in a closet for a month and see if you miss it, or see if you have a nagging feeling of regret of donating it. It's almost like making the decision and then seeing how you feel about it to really know if you should donate it or not. I also feel like in my 20s with Instagram, social media, and Pinterest, there was just so much pressure to have a lot of different items, to never be seen in the same thing over and over again, when really that just left me feeling like I didn't know my style and that I didn't know what I liked, and that when I went to go get dressed for something, I didn't have something immediately in mind that made me feel so confident when I put it on, because it felt like I had pressure to wear something completely different. Once I let go of that pressure and started to just buy things that I loved, even if I already had a couple slightly different versions of it, if I love it, it's going to really work in my wardrobe and I'm gonna reach for it a lot. I like to think of my wardrobe as a collection of style that I love and that I'll reach for and that works with my body. I've shown in past videos, but your style is a mix between what you like, what fits your body, what fits your budget, what fits your lifestyle and what kind of fabrics you can upkeep, and what fits the environment you live in, the climate you live in. So there's a lot that contributes to you finding your style, and all of those categories just overlap in one little area. So focusing on that area and finding pieces that you just love and fit you and fit every aspect of your life is just such a fulfilling feeling. The other mistake I made in my 20s was really relying too much on trends. I think there's definitely a balance between looking trendy and looking modern. I really like looking modern and fresh with little twinges of trends here and there. But if you just collect a lot of trends in your wardrobe, that doesn't mean it's all cohesive. If you've read these trend articles or watched any trend videos, they seem to be all over the place. So it's not just finding the trends that work for you, but understanding that trends aren't meant to work together. It's about curating a look for you and making small adjustments to your style that make you look a little bit more modern, having a little bit of fun with your style, but at the same time, not subscribing too much to the trends, especially now if you're like me and you've recently left your 20s and you're starting to see trends recycle from when you were a teen, preteen. The more that we see that it's just all repeating itself and that things that are out of style will eventually be back in style again, that is when we can kind of let go of the trends and start looking for that little part of our style within that Venn diagram for what works for us. Because on a similar note, another mistake I made was just buying too much stuff. I would just go out and buy, and I didn't realize that when I was truly happiest with my style was when I took the time to plan for it, to research it, and to really understand it, and to be more intentional with my shopping. If I want to be more environmentally friendly and still love shopping at the same time, I want to be really intentional with it and enjoy the process. And I recently started a style planning guide series that I will link here. It goes by season. At this point, there's just one video in there, but I will start adding more as the seasons come and go. I really encourage you to try it out. It's just a really fun way to look at how we can be still a little bit modern with our style, but really intentional and mindful at the same time. So I'll see you there.